Hey everybody, it's that girl Connor, and today I'm just doing like a really quick review of a book. So I recently read A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. That is too long of a name. I think that's part of the joke, but it's still too long. And I would give this book a C. A C? I think I mentioned it. I'm refilming this video because I didn't like the way the background and the way I looked and the way it all looked. What I feel, what am I trying to say? I'm so sorry. This is what I'm trying to say. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon is a book that I think a lot of people are probably into. I haven't seen a lot of it on Book Talk, but it seems like it's the kind of book that a lot of people would be really into. You got some magic stuff, you got some witchy stuff. It's pretty spicy. It's fantasy. It's like grumpy sunshine, and it's fake dating, which are tropes that a lot of people like. I feel like I'm going to see this book get a lot of 4 to 5 stars, and I don't think I want to keep doing stars. I think a letter grading system works a little bit better for me. I think it allows me to have a little bit more nuance where I think it just allows me to do more nuance. So I think I'm going to do like S tier through F, and this book is a C, maybe a C plus. For me, this book is perfectly readable. It's acceptable if you really loved it. I don't want you to feel like I'm saying it was poorly written or anything like that. Just a little bit of a plot summary. Muriel is a witch. She is supposed to be an incredibly powerful witch. There's a prophecy, but she really struggles with all magic that isn't like nature magic, which in this world, nature magic is viewed poorly and not as like real magic. It's like soft magic. Her family is really important, helped founded a town, and they have an incredible amount of power, and she has high standards that she cannot seem to meet, and she's incredibly insecure about that. She, one time, is trying to conjure up ingredients, and she accidentally summons a demon. The demon's name is Oz, and we find out about him that he used to be Oz the Ruthless, and he has this pretty high rank as a soul a soul harvester for the demon plane, which lives off human souls. That's the thing that lights it and keeps it moving, and it's a big honor in the demon plane to be a soul catcher, but it also means you have to sacrifice a lot of your life. You have to be incredibly cold and stone-faced and unfeeling, and something recently happened where he ended up by getting a bargainer, that's what they call it, bargainer, from a man, and the soul went into him. So he's kind of on the outs. So you find that out within the first chapter. I don't know if the soul being there, but that's not a spoiler. You find it out his first thing. It's a dual perspective story, which I tend to like. And I was down for parts of this story. I like Muriel's discovery of herself. I like parts of their romance. There is, I think, 3 sex scenes and 2 oh my god, we crossed the line scenes. The one sex scene I think is very hot. There is another sex scene that I find uncomfortable and I didn't like it, and the last one's fine. Where I find the biggest problem with this book is in the details, because I feel like there's just a little too much. It's not insta-love, right? Because they don't fall in love immediately. But there is a little bit more of why are you in love? Where I really feel like that's a problem for me. And I also personally have a problem with characters that are supposed to be my age, in their mid to late 20s, that are so reserved and so willing to let people walk all over them and talk over them, and just even though it's making them unhappy, even though it's hurting them, even though they feel downtrodden by it, and they never stand up for themselves, I don't find that endearing. I find that really frustrating. Part of which is because I am kind of not that person, and so it's of course okay to read stories and good to read stories about people that are different than you. But I felt the same way I felt in Pineapple Street with Sasha, where I was girl, just fucking say something. Why are you not talking to your husband? So Muriel's mom is Cruella de Vil levels of evil and mean and manipulative and dismissive to her daughter. So is Muriel's best friend's mom. Incredibly rude, incredibly nasty, and their main thing is they want to build a spa retreat and destroy the magical woods where all these magical creatures live, just to put a spa retreat there. And I feel like that concept is not super figured out. in terms of like why they're so evil. And I thought a good twist may have been that one of those moms had sold their soul, but then they wouldn't have the magic. Like, that's something in this book where magic is tied to your soul. But Muriel accidentally had summoned Oz, and so she's never ever going to sell her soul with him, but he has to be with her because there's no way to end it. I feel like they could have done a little bit more research and done like a little bit more of a research montage, and that's how they could have fallen in love. I just felt like I found the romance was there, like the tension was there, but once they were in love, I did not understand why. Because, but what I really saw was happening was that Muriel was being kind to Oz, and Oz had never had anybody be kind to him, and that's kind of why he loved her. And I don't know why Muriel loved Oz. That was not explained really well. I think what was explained is that she's really insecure and this man believes in her, and he multiple times stands up to her family on her behalf, which she doesn't like, which I do get, but I also was like, yes, finally somebody is telling these people to fuck off. Like, I get not wanting somebody else to fight your battles, but girl, you gotta try to fight your own battles a little bit. You can't just let people be nasty and make fun of you and be rude to you. And that was the other thing too that I thought was so weird. In this book, small town, magical town, Muriel's mom is one of the like leaders of the town, always watching her, always critiquing her, always saying something to her, about her, for her. And Muriel was just like, oh, but was able to fully be herself when her mom's not around in the small town where everybody still knows her and actively makes fun of her. I didn't like that. And then the other thing that I would say about this book is we're constantly being told that Muriel is capable, that she is smart. Just because she's just not the best at certain types of magic doesn't mean she's not worthy of love and respect, which is absolutely true. However, I saw the third act conflict coming about a third of the way through the book, maybe halfway, once they introduce the person who's going to cause the third act conflict. So this is where spoilers will happen. Oz's boss really wants this soul and knows Oz is like not being good at selling his soul because he has a soul now and he's worried about it. And Oz is very clearly becoming more invested in Muriel and more reticent to hurt her. And he comes up, and Muriel has exactly one interaction with some random man in the library about demons and how demons can sometimes fall in love with humans, and asks about the woods. And then some weird demon magic starts in the woods. And at some point, they can't figure out why, and Oz and Muriel have decided they're going to be together, and they have said, I love you, and they have been together for a week, and we get 3 sex scenes in that week, and not a single conversation about anything that they're doing. I would have preferred one less sex scene, the one that I did not like, and I would have preferred them to have spent all night talking and learning more about each other, and really feeling that they have learned love and trust and loyalty to each other. And I would love if when the conflict comes out that the thing in the woods is demon magic, and they immediately blame Oz for Muriel to go, no, oh my God, I had this conversation with somebody and it was so weird I didn't even mention it. And I think that like that person may have been your boss. You said he could come up, or like, no, I like the internal conflict of, no, I trust this person. They said that they love me. No, we talked about this. Like, that's not him. He's watched me. No, instead she immediately runs away, screaming at him, running away, crying. And I just don't like that. Because girl, it's the weirdo you met that talked to you one time, you told some personal details to, and then you never saw again. You never even mention it. If you're so goddamn smart, why aren't you putting 2 and 2 together? I get that you don't have to, that doing fancy magic is not the only way to be smart, but that's dumb. And I just wish the book would have had spent more time letting me know that she is in fact creative and smart and can come up with a plan and put 2 and 2 together, that her smarts are not just nature magic, that she's innately really good at, and she had other smarts and they helped demonstrate that. Because at this point I don't really feel like she was that smart. I think she emotionally mature. I think she could not solve a problem, and I think she has a lack of sense of self, to be honest with you. And so to me, I don't fully understand what Oz sees in her outside of the fact that this was the first human that was like really nice to him. I don't know why Oz loves Muriel. And to be honest with you, she never establishes it. And of course, out of the two characters, Oz is just inherently the more interesting one. He's a literal demon. And I wish we had learned more about the demon plane and about demons. I wish in that week that they had been together, there was like a sex scene. Maybe there was a way they tried to figure out to do some magic. Maybe she really, you know, her and Oz kind of had this confrontation where he goes, I think maybe part of the reason you're not good at magic is because you're so nervous around your family. I wish that you would try. And maybe they try to portal down to the demon plane, and it shows her being able to do magic with him and with his support and having people who believe in her. I wish we had seen a little bit more of that. I think a scene of that doing it, and I think honestly seeing a scene where the moms were maybe tempted by devils or demons and they were pushing a little bit more onto the like, I want power and I could give up my magic and I'm just so powerful, or something like that would have been a little bit of a way to round out the story, because to be honest with you, the story's like a little uneven. So like I said, readable, passable, it's totally fine to read. I found those errors with it, but I give it a C. There is a sequel coming out where they're doing like a companion book where it's like her friend, I think, is gonna fall in love. I don't think I'm gonna read it. I have the last audiobook for the Peaceful Rollcoasters. My camera is about to die. It will like immediately be like, I'm dying. And it's fine, because I should probably start getting ready. My very quick review of a book, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing one-off reviews, but I felt strongly enough about this book that I wanted to, so, you know. Bye. Bye.